Our story begins on the scorching sands of Tatooine, where a young Anakin Skywalker, barely 4 years old, clings to his mother Shmi under the twin suns' unrelenting glare. Captured by Tusken raiders after slavers betrayed their small moisture farm, Anakin's world has shattered. His small hands tremble, not from fear, but from a quiet burning anger as he watches the Tusken camp, their guttural cries echoing across the dunes. Shmi whispers to him to stay strong, but her eyes betray her dread. For Anakin, this is no mere captivity. It is the forge where his destiny will be shaped, not by Jedi or Sith, but by the harsh, unyielding will of the desert. The Tusken raiders, shrouded in their tattered robes, see something in the boy. Their elder, a weathered figure with a staff carved from gaffi sticks, senses a strange power in Anakin's defiant gaze. Instead of casting him out, or worse, they decide to raise him as one of their own, a child of the sands. Shmi, bound by chains but not broken, is kept alive to tend to the camp, her presence a fragile tether to Anakin's humanity. As days bleed into years, Anakin grows among the Tuskens, his force sensitivity simmering beneath the surface, untamed and raw. The desert becomes his teacher, its cruelty sharpening his instincts, its vastness fueling his dreams of something greater. Anakin's childhood is not one of gentleness. The Tuskens train him in their ways, survival, stealth, and the art of the gaffi stick. He learns to move like a shadow across the dunes, to read the wind's whispers, to strike with the precision of a krayt dragon. Yet, his connection to the Force sets him apart. When a sandstorm threatens the camp, Anakin, barely 10, instinctively raises his hands, and the winds part, saving the tribe. The Tuskens revere him as Ar-Amu's chosen, a child blessed by their ancient deity. Shmi watches, her heart torn between pride and fear, knowing her son's power could either save or doom them all. By 16, Anakin is a warrior, his body lean and scarred, his eyes carrying the weight of the desert's lessons. He wields a gaffi stick with unmatched skill, but his true strength lies in the Force, which he uses instinctively to sense danger or guide his strikes. The tribe's elder teaches him their oral histories, tales of Tatooine's ancient wars, and Anakin begins to see the galaxy as a place of endless conflict, where only the strong survive. Yet, Shmi's quiet stories of freedom and hope linger in his mind, clashing with the Tusken's brutal code. This inner turmoil becomes the heart of his journey, a battle between the desert's savagery and the faint call of something more. The galaxy beyond Tatooine stirs. On Coruscant, Jedi Master Qui-Gon Jinn, guided by a disturbance in the Force, investigates rumors of a powerful presence on the desert planet. The Jedi Council, wary of the growing shadow of the Sith, sends Qui-Gon and his apprentice Obi-Wan Kenobi to investigate. Meanwhile, Darth Sidious, hidden in the guise of Senator Palpatine, senses the same disturbance. He dispatches his apprentice, Darth Maul, to Tatooine, seeking to claim or destroy this unknown power. The convergence of these forces sets the stage for a collision that will test Anakin's loyalties and shape the galaxy's fate. Anakin's first true test comes when a rival Tusken clan attacks their camp, seeking to claim their water caches. The battle is fierce, with gaffi sticks clashing and banthas stampeding through the dunes. Anakin fights at the forefront, his movements a blur, using the Force to anticipate his enemy's strikes. When a rival warrior nearly kills Shmi, Anakin's rage erupts. He hurls the attacker into a rock face with a wave of his hand, the crack of bone echoing across the battlefield. The Tuskens cheer, but Shmi's horrified gaze pierces Anakin's heart. For the first time, he feels the seductive pull of his own power, a darkness that both thrills and terrifies him. Word of the battle spreads, drawing the attention of Jabba the Hutt, who sees the Tuskens as a threat to his control over Tatooine's underworld. Jabba sends bounty hunters, led by the cunning Aurra Sing, to eliminate the tribe. Anakin, now a leader among the Tuskens, organizes a defense, using the desert's terrain to outmaneuver the mercenaries. In a moonlit ambush, he duels Aurra Sing, his gaffy stick meeting her vibroblade in a shower of sparks. The Force guides his strikes, and he disarms her, sparing her life in a rare moment of mercy inspired by Shmi's teachings. Aurra flees, but her report to Jabba confirms the presence of a Force-sensitive warrior, drawing Qui-Gon and Maul closer. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan arrive in Mos Espa, their investigation leading them to whispers of a Tusken prodigy. They track the tribe to the Jundland Wastes, where they witness Anakin leading a ritual hunt. Qui-Gon senses the Force in him, raw and unrefined, but also a deep conflict within. Obi-Wan, cautious, warns that the boy's upbringing may make him dangerous, but Qui-Gon believes he could be the chosen one, destined to bring balance. They approach the camp under a truce, hoping to speak with Anakin, but the Tuskens, wary of outsiders, prepare for battle. At the same time, Darth Maul's ship descends silently into the desert, his red-black silhouette cutting through the night. He tracks Anakin's tribe, his mission clear: to test the boy's power, and, if worthy, corrupt him for Sidious. Maul's presence sends a chill through the Force, alerting Anakin. As Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan negotiate with the Tusken Elder, Anakin senses danger and slips away, following his instincts to a rocky outcrop. There, under the glow of Tatooine's moons, he comes face to face with Maul. The duel erupts without warning. Maul's double-bladed lightsaber hums to life, its red glow casting eerie shadows across the dunes. Anakin, armed only with his gaffy stick, moves with preternatural speed, the Force amplifying his reflexes. Maul strikes with lethal precision, but Anakin counters with unpredictable ferocity, his Tusken training blending with instinctive Force use. The clash of metal and plasma echoes through the night, drawing the attention of Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan, and the Tuskens. Shmi, watching from the camp, feels her heart race, knowing her son is in mortal danger. Maul taunts Anakin's raw power, sensing the anger within him. He offers a glimpse of the dark side, promising freedom from the desert's chains. Anakin hesitates, the temptation stirring his dreams of escaping Tatooine. But when Maul threatens Shmi, Anakin's rage surges. He hurls a boulder with the Force, forcing Maul to retreat momentarily. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan arrive, igniting their lightsabers, and the battle becomes a three-way dance of light and shadow. Maul, outnumbered, flees into the desert, but not before vowing to return for Anakin. The encounter leaves Anakin shaken. Qui-Gon offers to take him to the Jedi Temple, promising to train his gifts, but Anakin refuses, loyal to his tribe and protective of Shmi. Shmi, however, urges him to consider the Jedi's offer, believing he is meant for more than the desert. Torn between his Tusken family and the call of a larger destiny, Anakin's inner conflict deepens. The Tuskens, seeing the Jedi as intruders, demand they leave, and Qui-Gon reluctantly agrees, but not before giving Anakin a comm device to contact him if he changes his mind. As the Jedi depart, Anakin stands atop a dune, watching their ship vanish into the horizon. The desert stretches endlessly before him, a crucible of survival and sacrifice. Shmi places a hand on his shoulder, her presence grounding him, but the encounter with Maul has planted a seed of doubt. The galaxy is coming for him, and the boy raised by Tuskens knows he cannot hide forever. His destiny, forged in the sands, is only beginning. The twin suns of Tatooine beat down on the Jundland wastes, their light glinting off the scattered bones of a Krayt dragon. Anakin Skywalker, now 18, stands at the edge of the Tusken camp, his silhouette sharp against the endless dunes. The encounter with Darth Maul and the Jedi has left a scar on his spirit, a restless yearning that the desert cannot quell. Shmi watches him from the camp, her hands weaving bantha wool, her eyes heavy with unspoken fears. The galaxy's shadow looms closer, and Anakin, Ar-Amu's chosen, feels its weight pressing against the fragile peace of his tribe. The Tusken raiders grow wary. Whispers of off-worlders, Jedi, bounty hunters, and worse, spread through the camp like sand in a storm. The Elder, his voice rasping through a weathered mask, warns Anakin of outsiders who seek to steal their strength. Yet Anakin's dreams are haunted by Maul's red blades and Qui-Gon's calm gaze, each pulling him toward a destiny beyond the dunes. Shmi, sensing his turmoil, shares stories of the stars, of worlds where freedom is not just a dream. Her words stir Anakin's heart, but the Tusken's code, loyalty to the tribe above all, anchors him to the desert. Far from Tatooine, the galaxy churns with conflict. The Jedi Council, troubled by Qui-Gon's report of a Force-sensitive Tusken warrior, debates Anakin's fate. Master Yoda, his eyes narrowed with concern, senses a convergence in the Force, a balance teetering on the edge of chaos. Mace Windu argues for caution, fearing the boy's untamed power could serve the Sith. Qui-Gon, however, insists on returning to Tatooine, believing Anakin's heart can be guided to the light. Obi-Wan, torn between loyalty to his master and the Council's wisdom, prepares for a second journey to the desert planet. On Coruscant, Darth Sidious weaves his plans. Maul's failure to claim Anakin has not deterred the Sith Lord. Through his alter ego, Senator Palpatine, he manipulates trade disputes to destabilize Tatooine's economy, forcing Jabba the Hutt to tighten his grip on the planet. Sidious sends Maul back to Tatooine, this time with a new mission, to provoke Anakin's anger, to awaken the darkness within. Maul, his hatred for the Jedi burning brighter than ever, relishes the task, his Zabrak senses attuned to the boy's raw potential. Anakin's life among the Tuskens takes a darker turn when Jabba's enforcers, led by Bib Fortuna, demand tribute from the tribe. The Tuskens refuse, their pride unyielding, and Anakin leads a raid to sabotage Jabba's spice caravans. Under the cover of a sandstorm, he moves like a specter, his gaffy stick shattering droid guards and toppling cargo skiffs. The Force flows through him, guiding his strikes, but his anger flares when he sees a Twi'lek slave chained to a skiff. Memories of Shmi's captivity surge, and Anakin frees the slave, defying the Tusken Elder's orders to avoid unnecessary risks. The act earns him both admiration and rebuke from the tribe, deepening his sense of isolation. The raid's success draws Jabba's wrath. He hires a cadre of bounty hunters, including the lethal Cad Bane, to crush the Tuskens. The attack comes at dawn, blaster fire tearing through the camp as speeders roar across the dunes. Anakin fights with ferocious precision, his gaffy stick a whirlwind, the Force amplifying his strength. He shields Shmi, guiding her to safety, but the Elder falls, his body pierced by Bane's blaster bolts. In a surge of rage, Anakin unleashes a Force wave, hurling Bane and his mercenaries into the sands. The Tuskens rally, driving the attackers back, but the victory is hollow. The Elder's death leaves Anakin as the tribe's reluctant leader, a role he neither seeks nor fully understands. The battle intensifies. Shmi, seeing the toll of leadership on her son, urges him to seek the Jedi. She believes his power is meant for more than tribal wars, but Anakin resists, torn between his duty to the Tuskens and the faint hope of a larger purpose. The decision is forced upon him when Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan return, their ship landing near the camp under a banner of peace. The Tuskens, still mourning their elder, are hostile, but Anakin, sensing Qui-Gon's sincerity, agrees to speak. Qui-Gon shares the Jedi's mission to protect the galaxy, offering Anakin a chance to hone his gifts. Obi-Wan, more reserved, watches Anakin closely, noting the anger simmering beneath his calm exterior. The meeting is interrupted by Darth Maul's arrival. His ship screams across the sky, disgorging droid probes that swarm the camp. The Tuskens scatter, and Anakin, Qui-Gon, and Obi-Wan face Maul in a chaotic melee. Maul's double-bladed lightsaber carves through the air, his strikes a blur of red fury. Anakin, wielding only his gaffy stick, holds his own, his Tusken agility matching Maul's precision. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan flank the Sith, their blue blades weaving a defensive web, but Maul's ferocity drives them back. When a probe targets Shmi, Anakin's rage erupts. He hurls a spear with the Force, piercing the droid, but the distraction allows Maul to slash Qui-Gon's arm, drawing blood. The battle shifts to a narrow canyon where Anakin lures Maul, using the terrain to his advantage. He leaps from rock to rock, his movements unpredictable, forcing Maul to chase him. Qui-Gon, despite his wound, joins the fight, his lightsaber clashing with Maul's in a shower of sparks. Obi-Wan protects Shmi, deflecting blaster fire from the remaining probes. Anakin, driven by a mix of fear and fury, taps deeper into the Force, sending a cascade of rocks tumbling toward Maul. The Sith evades, but the distraction allows Qui-Gon to land a glancing blow, forcing Maul to retreat once more. As the dust settles, Anakin stands breathless, his heart pounding with the thrill of battle and the weight of his choices. The Tuskens, shaken by the attack, turn to Anakin for guidance. He declares they must leave the Jundland wastes, seeking refuge in the deeper desert to avoid further retribution. Shmi, however, sees the galaxy closing in. She gives Anakin the comm device from Qui-Gon, urging him to decide his path. Anakin, torn between his loyalty to the tribe and the call of the stars, leads the Tuskens to a hidden canyon, where ancient carvings hint at Tatooine's forgotten past. There, he meditates, the Force swirling around him, revealing glimpses of a galaxy in turmoil, cities burning, Jedi falling, and a dark figure watching from the shadows. Meanwhile, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan report to the Jedi Council via hologram. Qui-Gon insists Anakin is the chosen one, but Yoda warns that his upbringing among the Tuskens has made him unpredictable, a blade that could cut both ways. Mace Windu orders them to remain on Tatooine, to guide Anakin without forcing him, a task Obi-Wan finds daunting. On Coruscant, Sidious grows impatient. He contacts Maul, ordering him to escalate the conflict, to push Anakin toward the dark side by targeting those he loves. Maul, his pride wounded, prepares a final assault, enlisting Jabba's forces to crush the Tuskens once and for all. Anakin's leadership is tested when scouts report Jabba's army approaching, bolstered by Maul's droid reinforcements. The Tuskens prepare for a last stand, fortifying the canyon with traps and barricades. Anakin, haunted by visions of loss, trains the warriors, his gaffy stick a blur as he demonstrates techniques honed by years in the desert. Shmi, ever his anchor, reminds him of her stories of hope, urging him to fight not just for survival, but for a future beyond the sands. As night falls, Anakin stands atop the canyon, the Force humming within him, ready to face the storm that will define his destiny. The night sky over Tatooine's hidden canyon burns with the glow of twin moons, their light casting jagged shadows across the dunes. Anakin Skywalker stands atop a rocky outcrop, gaffy stick in hand, the Force pulsing through him like a desert storm. Below, the Tusken raiders brace for Jabba's army, their banthas tethered, traps set, and resolve hardened. Shmi, her face etched with quiet strength, watches her son, knowing this battle will forge his path. Darth Maul's droid reinforcements hum in the distance, their red optics glinting, while Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi approach stealthily, drawn by the Force's call. The galaxy holds its breath as Anakin, the boy of the sands, faces a crucible that will echo across the stars. Jabba's forces descend with merciless speed. Speeders scream through the canyon, blaster bolts searing the air. Cad Bane leads the charge, his cold eyes scanning for Anakin. Maul lurks in the shadows, his double-bladed lightsaber unlit, waiting for the moment to strike. The Tuskens meet the onslaught with ferocity, springing traps that send skiffs crashing into rock walls. Anakin leaps into the fray, his gaffy stick a blur, shattering droid chassis and deflecting bolts with force-guided precision. The canyon erupts in chaos, sand and sparks flying as banthas roar and warriors fall. Anakin fights like a tempest, his Tusken training melding with raw force power. He hurls a boulder at a speeder, crushing it mid-air, then dives into a group of mercenaries, his strikes swift and lethal. Shmi, armed with a salvaged blaster, guards the camp's flank, her shots precise despite her trembling hands. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan join the battle, their blue lightsabers carving through droids, their presence a beacon of hope. Yet Maul emerges, his red blades igniting, and charges Anakin. Their duel explodes across the canyon's edge, gaffy stick clashing against lightsaber, sparks illuminating the night. Maul's strikes are relentless, each swing a taunt, urging Anakin to embrace his rage. Anakin counters with desperate agility, leaping across chasms, using the Force to hurl debris. Qui-Gon engages Cad Bane, their duel a dance of saber and blaster, while Obi-Wan protects Shmi from droid swarms. Anakin's anger surges as Maul's blade grazes his shoulder, blood staining his robes. He roars, unleashing a force push that sends Maul stumbling, but the Sith recovers, slashing a rock formation that collapses toward Shmi. Anakin dives, shielding her, the rocks grazing his back as he pulls her to safety. Jabba's forces press forward, overwhelming the Tuskens. Anakin, torn between protecting Shmi and leading the tribe, feels the dark side's pull, its promise of power whispering through his pain. Maul senses this, offering Anakin a place at his side, a chance to rule the desert. Anakin hesitates, his eyes flickering with doubt, but Shmi's voice cuts through, urging him to choose hope. Qui-Gon, wounded but unyielding, shouts for Anakin to trust the light. The moment hangs, a heartbeat in the chaos, as Anakin's destiny teeters. Anakin rejects Maul's offer, his resolve hardening. He charges, gaffy stick meeting lightsaber in a flurry of strikes. The Force surges through him, not as rage, but as clarity. He anticipates Maul's moves, ducking a lethal swing, then drives his stick into the Sith's leg, forcing him to kneel. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan rally, cutting down Bane's mercenaries. Shmi fires a final shot, disabling a droid command unit, turning the tide. Anakin, with a primal scream, hurls Maul into a canyon wall with the Force, the impact cracking stone. Maul, battered, flees into the desert, his mission failed. The battle ends as dawn breaks, the canyon littered with wreckage and bodies. Jabba's forces retreat, their morale shattered. The Tuskens, though bloodied, stand victorious, their faith in Anakin unshaken. Qui-Gon, nursing his wounds, approaches Anakin, renewing his offer to join the Jedi. Shmi, her face lined with pride and sorrow, tells Anakin he must choose his path, not for her or the tribe, but for himself. Anakin looks across the canyon, the desert stretching endlessly, and feels the Force guiding him. He agrees to go with Qui-Gon, but only if Shmi can come, to be freed from Tatooine's chains. The journey to Coruscant is quiet, the stars outside the Jedi shuttle a tapestry of possibility. Anakin, now 20, stands beside Shmi, his gaffy stick replaced by a training saber from Qui-Gon. The Jedi Council, wary but intrigued, agrees to test Anakin, sensing his potential despite his unconventional upbringing. Yoda, his eyes piercing, warns of the darkness Anakin carries, but Qui-Gon vows to guide him. Obi-Wan, warming to Anakin's fierce loyalty, sees a brother in the making. Shmi, settled on Naboo under Padme Amidala's protection, begins a new life. Her heart eased, knowing Anakin is free. Years pass, and Anakin trains as a Jedi, his Tusken roots shaping his path. He fights not with the elegance of Obi-Wan or the wisdom of Qui-Gon, but with the ferocity of the desert, tempered by Shmi's hope. When the Clone Wars erupt, Anakin leads the 501st with Captain Rex, his strategies bold yet compassionate, sparing civilians where others would not. On Geonosis, he duels Count Dooku, his blue lightsaber clashing against red, their battle a storm of precision and power. Anakin's Tusken instincts give him an edge, but Dooku's mastery prevails, severing Anakin's arm. Yet Anakin rises, his spirit unbroken, vowing to protect the Republic. Darth Sidious, his plans disrupted by Anakin's allegiance to the Jedi, turns to other pawns, but Anakin's presence shifts the war's tide. On Coruscant, Padme, now a senator, works with Shmi to advocate for Outer Rim worlds, their voices amplifying Anakin's resolve. When Sidious reveals himself, Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Mace Windu confront him in the Senate's depths. The duel is brutal, Sidious's lightning scorching the air, but Anakin's raw power, honed by years in the desert, overwhelms the Sith. With a final strike, he ends Sidious, his lightsaber cutting through the darkness, fulfilling the prophecy of balance. The galaxy heals slowly. The Republic, led by Chancellor Bail Organa, negotiates peace with the Separatists, guided by Padme's diplomacy. The Jedi Order reforms, embracing emotion as a strength, with Anakin and Obi-Wan leading the change. Shmi, now a respected elder on Naboo, watches Anakin marry Padme, their union a symbol of hope. The Tuskens, inspired by Anakin's legend, forge alliances with other tribes, their isolation easing. Anakin visits Tatooine, standing among the dunes, his lightsaber at his side, the desert no longer a prison, but a part of him. He has become the hero Shmi always knew he could be, a bridge between worlds, a light born from the sands. The stars shine brighter now, free from Sith shadows. Anakin, no longer just Aramu's chosen, is a Jedi, a husband, a son. The galaxy, scarred but hopeful, rebuilds under his watch, its people united by the boy who rose from the desert. The Force flows freely, a current of possibility, and Anakin, at peace, knows he has honored his mother, his tribe, and himself. And folks, that's our story today. Writing Anakin as a Tusken warrior was a wild ride, blending his raw power with the desert's harsh lessons. I drew inspiration from the survivalist vibe of Tatooine and wanted to explore how Anakin's heart could shine through even without the Jedi's guidance. Hope you enjoyed this one as much as I did. Let me know what you think, hit that like button, and tell me what Star Wars what if you want next. Thanks for reading, and I'll see you in the next adventure.